Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to a first impressions video. Today I'm taking a look at Starfield on my Xbox Series S. Now I've had my Xbox Series S obviously for over 12 months now. I don't actually play it anywhere near as much as my PlayStation, and the main reason I got an Xbox Series S was because Starfield became like an Xbox exclusive, and it was a game that I'd been insanely looking forward to. So essentially I've been having my Xbox Series S on ice really for a while until this game came out. It has been out now. This really is a first impressions video because we know that this is a huge mammoth of a game that's going to take 150 hours to get you know anywhere near close to the end of this. Now, the campaign apparently is about 40 hours, but with everything else that's going on in this game, it is going to take you considerably longer than that. Now, when you first put this game on, you're greeted with this real sense of familiarity with Bethesda. And that's the biggest thing I can take away from my early impressions of this game. It is incredibly familiar. It definitely feels like a Bethesda game, which might sound stupid when you consider it is Bethesda that has put this out. It's their first original IP for about 25 years. And I have to say my early impressions are they've absolutely nailed this game. As a space sim fan, I mean, I love Elite Dangerous, I love No Man's Sky, I love games like that, Everspace, all that kind of stuff. I just love space sims, Mass Effect, all that kind of stuff. So to do a space sim like this and then combine it with the in-depth RPG that Bethesda are known to do just so well, then sign me up. I'm on board with it. Now, it's such a vast game, this. You almost don't really know where to start. So I'll start at the beginning, essentially. You start off as a lowly miner, as you can see here. Very, very quickly you are given access to your first ship. And I'm not going to spoil the story here, but essentially it's actually quite Mass Effect-like. You kind of uncover an artifact, it has an effect on you, and then you are kind of sent to the stars to investigate. And obviously, along the way, you can join factions, you can do all sorts of different missions, as well as the main quest. Now, one of the big selling points here is obviously the space flight and the space combat and things like that. And you are given a fairly basic ship to start with. It's got this real low-tech feel to it. It's really cool, the design, I think, of the interior and exterior of the ships. They feel really gritty and down to earth. I just love the animations. But not only can you kind of upgrade your ship and upgrade all the systems, your weapons, your engines, your grav drives, your shields, everything that matters on the ship you can upgrade and make it better and stronger. But you can also buy new ships from people that sell them in spaceports and things. And there are some pretty cool ships out there. If you're not interested in the building side of things, you can just kind of save up your coins and your credits and buy yourself a new ship. And for that reason, they are quite expensive, some of them, but a lot of the missions and side missions that you do pay pretty decent credits. So it's not going to take you like weeks and weeks to afford like a really special ship or anything like that. But obviously as well, you are given access to building your own ship from the ground up, which I haven't really delved into greatly yet. I've had a little nosy at it. It looks pretty complex when you first glance at it, but one of the things I loved about Fallout 4 was like the build mechanics in that, you know, the settlement building. So I know I will eventually get into the shipbuilding side of things, and I've got enough money to do it, and I will probably dump many hours into the shipbuilding side of it, and also as well the colony building, because you can land on the planets and you can basically colonize these planets. You can set up your own settlements. You can build them. I mean, there's very few restrictions this time. All you need is the resources. You can research new things on your ship to kind of get new things for your settlements, your mods for your weapons. There's a huge array of weapons here, and many of them have got that Bethesda feel about them. There's some kind of low-tech weapons, ballistic weapons, you know, like machine gun type things, shotguns, pistols, but you've got the classic lasers as well, which is my personal preference early on in the game. You could go melee as well. You've got the mammoth skill tree, as you can expect from a Bethesda RPG. You've got 5 or 6 different categories, ranging from combat to social to tech, so on and so forth. And every time you level up, you're given a skill point, and you can put those skill points into these skill trees and put them wherever you want to build the character that you want to be in this RPG. It's a silent protagonist this time. In Fallout 4, when they give a voice actor to the main character, there was a lot of criticism for that. I personally didn't mind it, but I do understand the criticism that a lot of people had towards that. So it's a silent protagonist now, so it makes it a little bit more role-playing. The graphics, I think, are spectacular for the most part. The cities look really, really nice. They're really diverse, and they look different, and the environments look different. Some of the NPCs look a little bit Bethesda, if you know what I mean. They don't look great, but when you go into the conversations with the characters, you know, they look really good, and their facial animations are vastly improved from obviously some of the older and previous games, like Fallout 4, for example. It does look really, really polished, and the legendary bugs that you can expect normally from a Bethesda game, well, I haven't experienced any on my Xbox Series S at the minute. Nothing, no crashes, no glitches, no NPCs flying around the screen or floating underneath the ground, anything like that. I haven't experienced any. But that doesn't say a lot, you know what I mean? I'm at the very early stages of the game, really. I'm not at the stage yet where maybe some of those. I mean, I've spent an awful lot of time just on the first planet, because it can literally swallow up your life just on the first planet that you land on. And there's quest after quest given to you, and quests this time can just be given to you if you overhear a conversation, which I think is really, really cool. And some of them are pretty pointless quests, like fetch quests, things like that. And some of them are a little bit more significant, like helping out people, civilians and things like that. But you're keen to do them because they actually are fairly decently paid. The exploration on the planet is really cool as well. It's almost No Man's Sky in its approach. You can scan items, you can scan the creatures, scan the flora, all that kind of stuff. You can get into combat with the creatures on the planet. There's all sorts of things for you to explore and discover on the planet. Unknown areas. You might come across like legendary creatures or anything like that. And again, you can get lost on the planet just exploring and doing that. There's just endless things to do here, really. You know, I know that I will probably put the most amount of time into this game just doing the settlement building and the ship building. The ship combat, for me, is absolutely fine. I have seen some reviews from when, obviously, some of the bigger reviewers have had copies of this for a couple of weeks, and some of them have said that they haven't been overly keen on the space combat. I actually think it's fine, and I would describe myself as a bit of a veteran when it comes to space sims and the combat. I think it's fine, I really do. You know, it's the usual thing. You've got your laser weapons to take the shields off, then your ballistic weapons, and then your missiles that you can lock onto. You can improve. You can put certain points into certain areas to make the weapons more powerful, so on and so forth. I could carry on and carry on. Needless to say, guys, I will try and get a more in-depth review up for you as soon as I can, but I'm absolutely loving this game so far.